And here we go, finding out the origins between Zeref and Mavis and their whole little story together. And this is funny enough that this story takes place 100 years before like the whole current events right now of like Fairy Tail. And pretty much so what people were saying like last year, you don't exactly have to read Fairy Tail Zero to understand anything that's like really going on here. However, there was a lot of nods to like Fairy Tail Zero, and basically they pretty much catch you up to speed, but it's like, hey, if there's a little side thing you want to read, then there you go. But it's like, she pretty much explained that the people that hadn't seen it, it's like, basically, Zeref was the one that taught that made this all her magic as well, just like the ones that she could use, and she used a black spell, like, which was later explained called Ro, which was actually, like, incomplete, and it did the exact same thing to Zeref now that she's immortal as well. And basically from there we saw the like construction of Fairy Tail, like Gil was born, and we also saw the second trade war as well, which is very interesting that like Mavis was out there on the front lines actually ordering like all like the media say, yeah, you go there, oh no, the right side of the field needs to go this way. It was kind of interesting to see that she was pretty much commanding an army at that point, and I was like, that's interesting to see right there. Like I wasn't like I honestly thought like for the most part like Mavis was like a pacifist for the most part. Like I thought she didn't really want to get into fights, but I guess even as well she was there trying to say I want to reduce as much lives being lost as possible from our side of the truth, so I'm gonna have to get involved in this war. And you saw everyone else in there as Fairy Tail was there like ready to do some shit as well. It's like it was very interesting because we never actually seen like something like this in Fairy Tail before, where it's like strategy and actually like careful thinking and stuff. Like it was very interesting because there was a lot of like kind of like world building and a lot of building into the history of like the sort of the series, like talking a little bit about this trade war that we had and like talking about like more of the strategy and like the sort of war. And I found that was very interesting. It's like especially as well when Mavis and Zeref reunited, and I think it was like 10 years afterwards, like that they had met each other, and it was like, because, and she like just go to like Zeref and get her like a big old hug, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, like you're Zeref, like after like you're the guy that lived like 300 years, it's like, well, no matter what, you're still a nice guy. And then pretty much the whole situation got explained about using the raw, and then it was like, oh, you got my curse as well, which I think it was called Axnagrad or something like that. It was like a very like difficult name to say, and pretty much from the sounds of it, this curse, you have to keep killing people. And I feel like that's what Zeref's curse is, and maybe that might explain what happened. Like maybe if you don't use the Axnagrad, if you don't kill people often, then you might have that like energy wave that happened. And I feel like this might have gone one into like Mavis is like basically your body, it hasn't changed at all like that. If you don't do anything about this, or if you don't like take a life or something, like you said, see how precious life is, it's like then you're gonna do it. So I have a feeling even though like she's immortal, I feel like somehow she was able to either kill herself. Like we don't know if she's like physically immortal, she cannot die, like she's just like semi-immortal. It's like, I mean, from what they said, she pretty much can't die. So it makes me wonder if like she actually destroyed her own body and just got the soul, so she didn't actually hurt anyone anymore. Maybe she devised with like something like fairy lore and like all the other ones, and maybe that's what Lumen Historie is, that it just obliterated her, and it's like maybe the only weapon that can actually take care of Zeref right now. So I'm kind of curious about that. It was like, because that is the body of the first master, and then maybe as well, like maybe all that energy accumulated up to her, like her not killing. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe she's just a giant bomb, because that can go set off if someone tries to release the first master. Like, shit can go fucking crazy either way, but it's like, it's the two of sort of like kind of different ends saying like, basically you had the power to walk alongside me, but both of them had a weird appreciation for like life and death. Like, and I found that was very interesting to see like, that's kind of what's going to happen. And it's like, I'm kind of curious to see what's going to be happening next chapter, because I wasn't expecting like the entirety of the chapter to be focused on. I thought they was just going to give us a quick little rundown and then back to like the Fairy Tail like characters, because the chapter ended up with like just Mavis breaking down crying, and then we also saw that we saw Yuri like there's giving birth, like having his baby boy Makarov there, so we're already got the breath. So I don't know, just like also as well, so I felt like this was originally maybe going to be added into the Zero manga, but then that kind of ended after like what 10 chapters or so. So I don't know, like it's like it felt like this could have been in Zero or this, but it's like Zero didn't really go too much into that stuff. It was just pretty much showing how the Fairy Tail members met. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what next chapter is, and we get a little bit more. And hopefully, like I would like to see this as a little mini arc or something like that, or like a little three to four chapters of like finding out about Mavis and Zeref, and maybe even seeing a nice fucking clash between the two, like having a big old final fight. But I don't think we'll see that. I think maybe we might end up seeing like basically how Mavis got trapped up into that body, and it's like I'm kind of curious. And then that probably might explain as well, like why we basically able to like see Mavis as well. Maybe that's something. Although the Fairy Tail members can see it, maybe that's like part of the magic that she made, like she kind of did with her imaginary friends. Like you can actually see like what she wants to say, like to everyone, even though she's trapped in there. So I'm kind of more interested, like I said, to learn more about like what's really going on. But really interesting chapter. I really wasn't expecting this from Fairy Tail to do some nice world building and like talk more about the world and the war. And I thought that was some interesting thing for Fairy Tail to do. And it wasn't just going to go straight into the Zeref stuff. But we've done some, interesting stuff in this chapter. So I definitely want to give this one like an 8 this week. This was a very good chapter. But let me know in the comments down below. But that's all from me. So thank you very much for watching as always. And I'll see you guys next time.